They enslaved him as a child. He learned to fight with his words. And before he was done, he'd freed hundreds of people in the same courtrooms that once called him property. Meet Luiz Gama. Born in Salvador, Brazil in 1830, to a free black woman and a Portuguese father. But when Gama was only 10 years old, his father sold him into slavery to pay off debts. Imagine that, your own father handing you over for cash. But Luiz Gama didn't break. He escaped as a teenager and taught himself how to read and write in secret. But what he found in books wasn't just knowledge. It was a weapon. He studied law, philosophy, and abolitionist thought until he could take on the courts himself. By the 1860s, Brazil was still enslaving nearly half its population. Gama became one of the sharpest abolitionist lawyers in the country. But here's the thing, he wasn't even officially licensed. He had no formal law degree. But he used loopholes, colonial codes, and the same system that enslaved him to argue people's freedom papers. And he won, over and over again. By some estimates, Luiz Gama helped free more than 500 enslaved Africans, all through legal petitions. His name alone terrified slaveholders, because they knew that if he stepped into the courtroom, they might lose their property. But he wasn't just fighting in the courtroom, he was also a journalist, setting fire to the page with biting satire that ripped open the hypocrisy of Brazil's so-called civilization. He mocked enslavers, exposed corruption, and demanded abolition when most of Brazil's elite wanted to drag slavery into eternity. So yeah, meet Luiz Gama, an enslaved boy who became a lawyer without a license, a runaway who turned the system on itself, a man who proved that resistance doesn't just happen with guns in the street. Sometimes it happens with paper, with ink, with law twisted back against his own masters. Brazil tried to bury his name, but every person he freed, every family he kept whole, that's his monument. Luiz Gama didn't just escape slavery. He dismantled it, case by case. Say his name, Luiz Gama.